I will share with you one story from the Quran that I think is very important for especially young Muslims that are going through a hard time. And it's not just despair when it comes to sins, it's also despair when it comes to your life situation. So maybe you're having a hard time in school, you're not getting the grades you were supposed to get, maybe your parents can't afford your tuition anymore and you have to drop out of school or something like that. Maybe the girl you really wanted to get married told you you're ugly and she's not marrying you anymore or whatever. You're going through some kind of depressing situation and you don't see a way out. And I wanted to share some things from the story of Musa alayhi salam when he was in a situation of despair. So all of you know, and you can call this out and see the strength of the crowd, what is the famous mistake that Musa alayhi salam made in his young years that led him to run away from Egypt? This is the strength of this crowd, huh? So yes, he did kill someone and he ran away, alayhi salam. And he reached the waters of Madian. And when he got to the waters of Madian, there were people feeding their animals drink, and he helped these two women, and he came back and sat down under the shade. And you have to, I'm fast forwarding to the point I want to get to. And the point is, when he sat down under the shade, Allah Azza wa Jal first mentions, فَسَقَى لَهُمَا ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. Everything Allah mentions in a story in the Quran is important. Because the stories of the Quran sometimes are years that are covered in 2 pages. Right? So Musa alayhi salam, years have passed by from his young years to the point where he's killed someone, to the point where he's run away from Egypt, to the point that he got to Madian, to the point where he sees these people feeding their animals, he sees those women and he helps them. Each of those things did not happen one after the other. There are months and years in between. But Allah is very brief in the Quran, right? What that tells you is, if Allah puts something in the Quran, it must be a very important use. Like, there are no details in the Quran that are secondary. There are so many things that could have been said about the journey from Egypt to Madian. Which way did he go? What did he eat on the way? Did he meet anybody? I'm sure lots of things happened to him on the way. We don't know any of it. We just know he got to Madian. And a walk from Egypt to Madian is not a short walk. But what Allah chose to mention is, when he got to the waters of Madian and he saw these women, one particular ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, فَسَقَى لَهُمَا. So therefore, he gave drink to their animals. He grabbed the animals from those 2 girls, and he took them and he fed them. ثُمَّ تَوَلَّى إِلَى الظِّلِّ. This was also important to mention, young brother. He went back and sat down in the shade. Allah did not say he went back to them and said, no need to thank me. It's okay, sister. He didn't make small talk with them. He sat down under the shade. And I'll come back to this idea of mentioning that first before we get to the dua. And my talk is really about the dua of Musa alayhi salam. He says, قَالَ رَبِّي إِنِّي لِمَا أَنزَلْتَ إِلَيَّ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَقِيرٍ. Master, whatever good you send my way, my back is broken. Faqr actually, which means bankruptcy in the Arabic language, is also used for a back being broken. When you're so overburdened on your back that it snaps. And obviously our back is a source of strength, right? So Musa alayhi salam has already been described in the surah as wastawa. He was very strong. He was a strong man. And yet he turns to Allah sitting under the shade and he says, whatever good you send my way, I am desperately in need of it. In this talk, I want to share with you 2 meanings of that dua. Just 2 meanings. And I would hope you could remember both of them. The crime that Musa alayhi salam has committed, even though his intentions were good, he didn't mean to kill someone, but it happened by his hand, alayhi salam. It happened. And he has made tawbah to Allah, he's turned back to Allah. But the question a lot of people ask, you might even ask yourself, I know I've made tawbah. How do I know Allah actually forgave me? I know I feel bad about what I did, and I asked Allah to forgive me, and I prayed and I've cried. But how do I have a guarantee that Allah has actually forgiven me so I can move on? This is an important question for you and me and for a lot of people, because when we do make sins, and we do, it's not an if we do sin, it's a when we do sin, then we have to be able to move on. Otherwise, the thought of that sin can be paralyzing. You won't be able to do anything in your life because it's bearing down on you so much, it kills all of the hope in your life. And you say, I'm going to hell anyway, might as well just whatever. And you start dropping your obligations and you start falling into sin without any regard, without any restrictions, right? So being able to know to some extent that Allah has forgiven you and Allah has forgiven me is important. If we can't have it for sure, at least some indication should be there. Now Musa alayhi salam has committed this mistake. He's run away. He's not in a situation of comfort. He's homeless. He's in rags. He has no money to his name. He's a fugitive from the law. People are looking for him, and if they find him, the command is not to arrest him and take him to court. The command is to kill him on sight. So it's not like the cops are looking for him and they're going to arrest him. The cops have been given the order, shoot to kill. إِنَّ الْمَلَأَ يَأْتَمِرُونَ بِكَ لِيَقْتُلُوكَ. The chiefs have made a plot among themselves. If they find you, they're going to kill you. He's got a whole bunch of problems. And despite all of his problems, and the biggest problem you can imagine being a man of ihsan, because Allah tells us that he was a very spiritual man. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ in the same story. You would think, in light of all of those problems, you would think the biggest problem he has is not knowing for sure whether or not Allah has forgiven him. So he travels in all of this despair and he sees two girls that need help. And he helps them out. And Allah mentioned that first. In the same ayah, Allah mentioned that first. It's not even a separate ayah from the dua, it's the same ayah. He helped them, and then what did I say? What did he do after he helped them? He sat under the shade. So he didn't sit close to them. The idea Allah describes is he didn't want to be around them. This part of his character, because he knows they're girls. So he went over far away from them, and he sat under a shade. And when he sat down, and this is the only home he has now, is a shade under a tree. That's all he's got, maybe under a rock. And now he says, whatever good you send my way, I am totally bankrupt, I could use it. The first meaning of this dua is that he feels that if he gets an opportunity to help people, to do a good thing, he is bankrupt. He could use as many good deeds as he can get because he knows what he has to make up for. You and I have to feel desperate to want to do good things if we have a dark past. If you've made mistakes in life, and if I've made mistakes in life, that should actually make us desperate to want to do the next good thing. To want to do the next good thing. And by the way, Musa alayhi salam is already clear as a man of spirituality. He prays, he makes dua. Even when he was leaving Egypt, he made dua. So good deeds are not just spirituality, because he already had that covered. What he means by khair here is an opportunity to help people, because he helped people, didn't he? He helped people and he sat back down and said, yeah, it's like he's saying, Ya Allah, if you let me help other people, I'll help them too. I know what I need to do. I am so desperate to want to volunteer for the next project. I am really into it. So when a young man here who lived a party lifestyle makes tawbah, then his tawbah does not just include that he prays a lot and he recites Quran a lot and he makes a lot of dua, but it also means he is constantly looking for opportunities to help people. He's trying to help his family. He's trying to help the neighbor. He's trying to help old people in the neighborhood. You're constantly looking to help people. And that is how you will know when Allah keeps sending you opportunities to help people, you know you're on the road to forgiveness. That's the first meaning of this dua. That people of sin will be desperate to do what? To help others. Because they know that's their road to forgiveness. That's how they know Allah gives them opportunity to make it up. The second meaning. He says, Ya Allah, whatever good you send my way, I am desperate. Not just good deed, but good. I mean, I don't have clothes, I don't have a house, I don't have food, I don't have a job, I don't have a place I can call home anymore. I'm a fugitive, I'm running away, I got nothing. Ya Allah, send me something, because I am literally bankrupt. I got nothing. It is a dua of desperation from a man who has nothing left. He has nothing left. He's sitting under the shade in the ultimate state of desperation. I will come back to him in a second. Who did he help? Who did he help? Two girls. These two girls, usually they stay on top of the hill, the Quran tells us. They don't come down and feed their animals. Like all the other people, the people that are feeding their animals the water or giving them their animals water, they go at first, and then after they're all done, then these two girls go and feed their animals. You know why? Because those men down there don't respect women. If they respected women, they would have given them some space so they can do their work too. But they want to rub elbows with those women or whistle at them or howl at them. They're perverts. They don't respect women. And these girls know. They probably know from experience. So they're not going to go down there again. So they have to wait the entire afternoon until they're all done and they're by themselves, and then they can go down there. right? And the story also tells us in Surah Al-Qasas that their father is an old man, so he can't do it. So these girls have to be out in the workforce by themselves. Women in the workforce in the Quran, ladies and gentlemen. But anyhow, so these girls have to be by themselves and they have to wait all afternoon. Musa alayhi salam walks up to them and tells them, what is wrong with you? Why are you like tug-of-warring with these sheep? Because the sheep don't know these men are disrespectful, I should wait till they're done and then I'll go for the water. Their sheep see the water and what do the sheep want to do? Go down there, and they're pulling and the sheep are pulling and they're pulling and the sheep are pulling. And Musa alayhi salam walks up and basically tells them, what is going on here? You know? So he helps them. What does that mean? He took the sheep, he walked down there, pushed those men out of the way, gave the animals drink, came back up, right? You know what that tells you? Those girls went home early or late that day. They went home early that day because the work got done a couple of hours early. Now who's at home? Who did I say lives at home? Old father. He notices you girls are home 3 hours early. What's going on? Well, there was this guy. They don't know his name is Musa alayhi salam. They don't know he's going to be a messenger. They didn't ask for his autograph, nothing. So they go, there was this guy, he helped us out. He took it now the only thing that this man who's a father of 2 young women, the only thing he knows about Musa alayhi salam is not because he's met him, not because he's read about him like you and I have. The only thing he knows about this man is from who? His daughters. That's it. That's it. By the way, this story has despair all around. There's a father who's too old to be able to provide for his family. He has to send his daughters out into the workforce. That is despair. Those girls have to work in an environment where men don't respect them. That is despair. There's hopeless situation. Musa alayhi salam is homeless. That's despair. There's depressing situation all around. Now these girls come back home and they tell him there was a really strong man, looked kind of homeless, raggedy clothes. He came, he grabbed our sheep, fed them and brought them back. He said, did he ask you for money? Was he staring at you? Was he making small talk? Did he try to say salam a little too many times? No, anything? And they say, no, Dad, we know what men are like. We go out there every day. We know what he was like. He just handed us the sheep and sat back down under a tree and looked like he was praying or something. And it wasn't like one of you guys who would sit down under the tree and go back like, did you say something? Wait, is there something else I can do? No. He's done. He's just talking to Allah now. He doesn't need their attention anymore. So the father hears this and what does he do? Now, I've left Musa alayhi salam's part of the story. He's back under the tree asking Allah, Ya Allah, send me something. Now, if you're a father, I'm a father of 4 girls, 2 of them are sitting here. If my girls are teenagers, 20 years old, 22 years old, and they have to work outside, and he says, go get that man. I want to talk to him myself. If you're a father, do you send both of your daughters or one of your daughters to be safe? One of them or 2 of them outside? 2. They can protect each other. He sends one of them. He has that much trust in his daughters that when they describe Musa alayhi salam as an honest guy, that he says, that's good enough for me. Because his daughter's word is good enough. Fathers better listen. Your daughter's word should be good enough. There's good communication skills here. But anyway, so he sends his daughter, فَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ. One of them came walking over to him despite her shyness. So she comes to him and she's shy. She wants to talk to him, but she's shy. And she's shy to speak. One meaning is, عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاء is actually, despite her shyness, she speaks. عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ قَالَتْ, or it's تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاء. Both of them. She was walking shyly, because when there were 2 of them, they were brave. She's only one, she got nervous. So she got up to him and she says, Inna abi yad'uka, my dad is calling you, all right? My dad no doubt is calling you, so he can pay you. لِيَجْزِيَكَ أَجْرَ مَا سَقَيْتَ لَنَا. The point I wanted to make is, Musa asked Allah, Ya Allah, send me something, send me anything, I can use it. The next ayah says, therefore, as-sababiyya, one of those girls came and said, my dad's calling you. He got a job as a result of, or he wanted to get paid as a result of his what? His dua. Now, I said how many desis in the house. Here's why. You know this thing we have, a genetic disorder in the Indo-Pak subcontinent called takalluf? You know what takalluf means? Takalluf means, nahi rehne de, koi baat nahi, thane, koi nahi. No, brother, no. You go to somebody's house, they're offering you tea, and you say 1,000 times what? No, please, no, nahi. Oh, chhode rehne de. right? That's what you do. And then they don't bring you tea because they're Arab and they're like, okay, la ya'ni la. No means no, or more for me, you know? And then you're leaving their house like, bade badtameez hai, chai bhi nahi pilai in logon ne, like, you know, like, but anyway, the point is, we have this thing called takalluf. And takalluf means if somebody's offering you something, what do you say first? No, I'm okay. Dude, your shirt is ripped, your foot is bleeding, somebody offered you a shoe, need, and then main theek hu. That's okay, I'm okay. And you know what it's rooted in? It's rooted in the idea of self-respect. It's rooted in the idea of self-respect. You know, they say in Arabic, عِزُّ الرَّجُلِ إِسْتِغْنَاؤُهُ عَنِ النَّاسِ, that a dignity of a person is that he doesn't need other people. Right? So if you're constantly asking hey bro, can I borrow $5? And you got some money, I'm kind of hungry right now. Hey, can I borrow your laptop? Can I borrow your phone? I gotta make a phone call. Hey, can I borrow your car? The guy who borrows from you all the time, you start sending him to voicemail. Right? It's like this guy has no respect and he's always begging for stuff. But the other way around, Musa alayhi salam did not ask her for money, didn't ask her dad for money. Who did he ask for help? Allah. Allah sent him money and help through a human being. That help is not coming to you from that person, it's coming to you from Allah. That's why he says, not وَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا فَجَاءَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا. The fact that she came to him and called him to come because dad wants to pay you is because he made dua to Allah. The job offer came. And what a job offer. He gets to the house and Musa alayhi salam's got a heavy heart because he killed somebody. He's got a lot on his mind. He's been traveling on his own. He's got a lot to unload. So فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص. He got to the house, he told her father the whole story. Everything. I was born in Egypt, you know, I was supposed to be killed when I was a baby, got raised in the castle, accidentally killed somebody, ran away, the whole 9 yards. And my stepfather, etc., this person, this adopting father, he's a pretty bad kafir guy. You know, and the entire police administration is looking for me, etc., etc. He's given him the whole story, and who's listening from the kitchen? Two girls. Two girls listening. And one of them calls her dad. She says, she calls her dad, Abba, Baba, Daddy, Papa, Idra. Just come here, I gotta talk to you. And she says, Ya abati sta'jirhu. Dad, hire him. Dad, give him a job. Don't just pay him for what he did right now. And by the way, what he did was voluntary or paid services. What did he do? Call it out. So he doesn't turn to the sister and say, Sister, I did that for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm simply a volunteer looking for the next good deed. I shall not get paid. He is smart enough to know when Allah sends him an opportunity. He went straight. He was like, let's go, I'm going to get paid. He sees that is the answer to the dua. What am I trying to tell you? If a friend is offering you a job, if somebody comes to you and say, hey, I noticed that you got laid off, there may be an opportunity in my company, I can put in a good word, etc., etc. And you say, no, brother, thank you, it's okay. Stop being stupid. You made dua to Allah. Allah sent your friend. Allah sent you a LinkedIn profile. That's how it works. That's how it works. It's not, Musa alayhi salam did not have takalluf, chhode behen aap rehne dein. Right, leave it, sister, it's okay. I don't need help. I'm just going to ask Allah because until fruits start falling from the sky, I will not eat. No, that's not how life works. These are real life lessons in Quran. So he goes and he tells this man the whole story. And then the girl says, hire him. Hire him. And he comes back out of the room and says, I want to marry one of my 2 daughters to you. Now let me tell you guys about despair. Brothers here. How many brothers? Don't raise your hand. Just raise the level of sadness in your eyes. Looking to get married, can't find anybody. Nobody's interested. Let me tell you, there is hope for you in this story. Musa alayhi salam went to a house, homeless, jobless, and he's got a rap sheet. And he gets what in 2 and 5 minute conversation? What happens? Hey, I'd like to marry one of my 2 daughters to you. So I'm not sure your interview is going to be that bad with her father. So when you're going in for an interview with her father, then just know that it's not as bad as Musa alayhi salam's case. Have some hope. Be optimistic. Okay? So anyway, he says you should get married, but ala an ta'jurani thamaniya hijaj. You should work for me 8 years. وَإِنْ أَتْمَمْتَ عَشْرًا فَمِنْ عِنْدِكَ. If you do 10, it's up to you. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ. I don't want to be hard on you. I'm not trying to push this on you. I'm not saying you have to marry one of my 2 girls. I'm just saying, If you do, then you should work for me for 8 years. And you're like, man, that's tough, man. I gotta work for my father-in-law 8 years? What, be whooped by my in-laws? For 8 years? But you know what he's realizing? There's so many problems that are being solved right now. He's got 2 girls who live in a society that has good men or no good men. Is that already clear? There are no good men in that society. He finds a good man who's honest enough to tell him even the most embarrassing parts of his past. He says, good men like that are hard to find. And my girl likes him because she said hire him, which is code for, come on, dad. Okay? Because she didn't say hire. She's not going to say, dad, come on, hook a sister up. She's not going to talk like that. She's going to say hire him. But when he hires him, he's going to work at the house. And he's going to work at the house with 2 unmarried girls. What fitna do you want? You're a smart man. You're like, if I trust him enough to hire him, I should trust him enough to marry him to one of my daughters. And that leaves me only 1 daughter to worry about. But there's another problem. If I marry him off and he goes away, which he can't, by the way, why can't he go anywhere? Even if he marries homeless. So let me just marry him off and provide him 8 years of work visa authorization and H1, and it can be extended up to 10 years. So that solves that problem. Now he can save up and live here, and at the same time I have someone to protect the household and someone to take care of the chores of the house, and it gives me 8 to 10 extra years to find a boy for my second daughter, because if he left, then that girl would have to go by herself to feed the animals, and that's way more dangerous. So I need to look out for my younger daughter, my older daughter, myself, the household. This young man's a good man. He needs an opportunity too. All of that is solved because Musa alayhi salam said, Ya Allah, help me out here. All of that is solved. Allah has plans. He helps everything gets resolved. And he said, I don't want to be hard on you. If you want to go back to be homeless and go sit under the rock, that's fine. I'm not pushing this on you. وَمَا أُرِيدُ أَنْ أَشُقَّ عَلَيْكَ سَتَجِدُنِي إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. You'll find me from good people. In other words, even though you're family, I'm putting this on you that I'm going to be fair to you. I'll be good. I'll pay you what you deserve to be paid. By the way, there are some other things in here that you should know. If you're in one of those situations where you have to work for your in-laws, in most Muslim cultures, it is humiliating to work for your in-laws. Right? It's humiliating. I don't think any of you is more man than Musa alayhi salam. He worked for his in-laws 8 years. So there you have it. Allah put that in the Quran for a reason, because we make life hard on ourselves and Allah makes life easy for us. There's a reason He did that. There's another thing there. You're despairing because you can't find a girl. You can't find a girl for your boy or a boy for your girl from the same zip code in Hyderabad or in Pakistan or in Egypt or Cairo or whatever. You can't find somebody from the same place. You're like, I can't marry. And he knows he's living in a non-Muslim society. He can't find a good boy. So he actually married his Arab daughter to a child of Israel. That's an interracial marriage. The only marriage mentioned in the Quran is interracial. So long as you have a good boy. You have a good boy, he meets you, the girl likes him, he's a good character, good enough for me, because I know decent people are hard to find. The reason I brought this part of the story up to all of you is that dua in Surah Al-Qasas. Surah Al-Qasas is surah number 28. Look for the dua yourself. I will not tell you the ayah number. Look for it yourself. Read Quran, don't be lazy. Read it and find it. Why is that dua important? Because one, Allah will answer your dua when you help other people. Because what did He do first in the dua? He gave the water first. And then He made the dua. And therefore the answer to the dua came. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot to learn here. But you and I are in desperate need of Allah's help, and Allah's help is never far. It came immediately. It just came in the form of, not only does he have a job now, he has a home now, he is safe now, he has a family, even got married. He didn't even ask Allah, Ya Allah, I'm marriage age, hook a brother up. No. It came from a bonus package, came on top of that. He got married, has a great father-in-law. All of it's taken care of, subhanallah. So Allah will take care of you, Allah will take care of me. We just have to turn to Allah and ask for help. The last 1 minute I want to leave you with is that you would say, but that is special because he was a prophet. I'm not a prophet. Allah's not going to specially help me. That happens for special people. Let me tell you, every Friday we're supposed to recite the story of the people of the cave. Are the people of the cave, the young men, innahum fitya, are they prophets or not? They're not prophets. They're regular Muslims. They are regular Muslims. And when they turned to Allah for help, Allah helped them with a miracle of 300 and some years of sleep. And these are not prophets. Even non-prophets receive miraculous help from Allah. You just have to ask. And the help will come in ways you cannot even imagine. We have to be people of optimism, of hope, and we have to be a people that learn the du'as from the Quran and learn to make them with a sincere heart. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.